today's exceptional guest. Our guest is a true trailblazer whose innovative spirit and unwavering passion have not only shaped their journey, but have also made significant impacts in their communities. So I'd like to also just actually give a warm welcome to our guest and also a member of our CASTNET team. And I will allow her an opportunity to introduce yourself. Please share a little bit about yourself, but also, most importantly, your name and where you're from.
Thank you very much, Charles, for having me on your podcast. I'm truly honored. My name is Enyonam Manye, and I'm speaking from West Africa, precisely from Ghana. I am the founder of Count on Crops Hub and the Ghanaian Pharma TV. Back home in Ghana, my agency is an agriculture media advocacy agency. We've been in the space for 5 years, and our business model is centered on production first as farmers. Secondly, is content creation on documentary. So we create content around farmers, everybody in the value chain, to put some spotlight on the hardworking men and women who are ensuring that at the end of the day, Ghana has food on its table, and of course, we are able to export to other part of the country. We also use the platform to demystify the negative perception that young people have about Agrake, and equally enlighten investors who are hoping to invest into the economy to consider Agrake and not just other sectors. So that's part of our business as well. Apart from that, we are also into organizing conferences, seminars, workshops, capacity building training programs for people who are looking forward to go into the space and want to engage with stakeholders. So we organize these annual conferences, bringing everybody together to have a very educative conversations and find lasting solutions for the space. And lastly, agrotourism, because we realize that our farmers, apart from being on the farm and giving us food to eat, nobody really takes it upon themselves to go and visit them, see what they're doing, engage them, pay a little coin for them to be encouraged and buy some water to drink. So, as a young Agrake influencer, I really don't want to just go there always to visit them. I thought that Agrake tourism is another initiative to create awareness, to create education, to bring people closer to culture, tradition, learn, have fun, and also network. So recently, we just launched Agrake tourism initiative, and it's been amazing. We've done our first trip, and we're on the second trip registering people to join. So, in brief, that's what I do back home in Ghana.
Once again, you are a phenomenal individual. And before we even proceed any further, I encourage our audience to not only just look at your site, look at the work that you're doing, but also visit your site on YouTube as well, and sign up, subscribe. You're just doing some great work out in Ghana. And understanding, you've got a plethora of businesses that you've been engaged in, but I'd like for the audience to really just know a little bit about you as a person and what really drove and motivated you to do the things that you're doing today for the great country of Ghana. So, can you tell us a little bit about your life growing up in Ghana?
Thank you very much. So my both parents are from the Volta region here in Ghana. My father happens to be a businessman and a commercial farmer, and my mother is into the hospitality industry. I was born into a family of six. And at a point in time in my life, my parents got divorced, and I had to be taken care of by another co-tenant, if I should say, because she happened to be in our environment. So after my junior high school, I went on to go to senior high school. Afterwards, I had to fend for myself at that young age because my father says, I've done my bit taking you to senior high, so go get a job and support yourself. So I had to strive harder and look for a job. And so I happened to just bumped into a radio station around where my school happens to be. I walk into the station and introduce myself. I just finished senior high. I'm going to be home for a long time. Is there anything you have for me to do? And the manager was like, we are not hiring. I said, well, I want to do a volunteer job if you don't mind. He said, are you sure? I said, yes. So he said, you go come the next day, we'll train you and tell you what to do. So my journey into broadcasting started off as a front desk executive. So I was trained to receive calls, receive visitors, direct them to which department you're going to, call presenters to meet visitors. So that's what I did in the radio station for 6 months. After which my work was appreciated and I started getting monthly allowance. So it was through that training and service time I realized that I have the talent or the flair for talking. And so one of these days, I approached the programs manager. I told him, "Listen, I've monitored one of the programs on air, and it's in the Volta region language. I think I can co-host or sit in if the presenter is not available because I realized that most often if she's not available, the program is not on." And he said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." So one of these days, I was just in the reception minding my business and I was called by the manager, hey, get ready, you're going on air because the presenter is not coming. And so that was the beginning of my journey of becoming a full-fledged presenter. I started sitting in. At times, I even pray for her to travel so I can just go and sit on and do my thing. So that's how I started. And one of the presenters told me, look, I think you're doing great, but it will be good if you can further your education to have a diploma in journalism or a certificate to back up what you're doing. So when there's an opening, you can have a certificate to apply for that position. So I listened to the advice and then went to seek for admission, went to seek for to apply and I got admitted and went to school. For me as a young person growing up, I just knew that if there's an opportunity and I can explore, if it falls within my confines and I know I can do to the best of my abilities, I don't sit around waiting to be asked, can you do this? I take a step to ask, would you permit me to do this? And then if the opportunity gives or it's available, I grab it and do to the best of my abilities. And that's how it's been for me for a long time. So my diploma I went to do my degree in strategic communications after that. And at a point, the station had an issue with government. It's a political station. And so it had to be closed down. Everybody was asked to go home and that was when the reality setting around 2020. So back home, whilst I was home, I was just wondering, what am I going to do with my life? How do I feed? How do I pay my bills? Then I realized that I could be an entrepreneur. And I'm a journalist, I'm a PR. So how do I leverage on my trained career to create business for myself? And that's where the dream of becoming a producer started off from. So it's not being so smooth, but I've learned a lot. I mean, traveling on that journey to get to where I am today.
That is excellent. And I have to commend you for taking that path and obviously not an easy path to take. But as we know, any journey that's well worth it is going to be a lonely journey, but also very rewarding. And I appreciate hearing that. And that tells me a lot about how you are today just by knowing what you went through and what you endured to get where you are today. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I did want to ask you, what are some of the greatest needs that you've seen that the people of Ghana require?
Hmm, that's a very tough one. The young people of Ghana, the basic things I see is employment on entrepreneurship support. We all admit that government cannot recruit everybody or every young person from the universities who graduate every year.
Yeah,
But there are a lot number of young people who also want to become entrepreneurs. Now, these young people have the desire. Some have even gone through vocational training skills. But at the end of the day, to become a full-fledged entrepreneur, there are basic things you need. You need things like money to set up. You need things like logistics. It could be an office or it could be a random office. You can operate from home and supply the client and make money and all that. There are those who need business registration. There are those who need business coaches to guide them. There are those who need some form of networking. I know this person, let me recommend you to meet this person and do business. Many young Ghanaians face high unemployment rate and struggle to find decent jobs. But one of the sectors that creates a lot of jobs is also agriculture. However, or unfortunately, these young people do not want to explore that area because of the perception of it's dirty, it is for uneducated people, it is not rewarding. And so these are some of the reason why I have dedicated myself as a journalist to clear that negative narrative. Because, Charles, for my 5 years working in this space, I've had opportunity to even be CASTNET ambassador. I'm an agriculture advisor ambassador on CASTNET. And how did you find me? It is because of the work I do and I post
Yes.
online. So you saw CASTNET brand has some form of linkage with what I do. And I'm worthy of that position. So I got it. I have had a chance to win an award from Canada as one of the youngest rural agriculture journalists, putting spotlight on young people or farmers in Ghana. I have traveled to most countries to attend conferences, workshops that are fully sponsored because of the work I do. So for me, I dedicated myself as a journalist to clear that narrative and rather encourage more young people to go there. So one of the needs of young people is employment and entrepreneurship support. And government is doing their bit, but I think more external support is needed to reach a larger number of people. Number two is access to finance. I think I've mentioned that. It is a
Mm.
big need of young Ghanaian people. People want to start business. Before I started my business as a creator, a documentary creator, I had saved some money from Radio Gold where I was working previously. So I used that money to start renting cameras, renting a couple of things, get people to follow me, and then go and do my work. At times, you get appreciated. At times, you wait up until the content is watched and the money accumulates, and then you are paid from up there or from Europe for the work you have done. Now, there are a few or a handful of young people who knows how to save. I want to do this business, but let me save something small and start, and then I can apply for either a grant or a loan, or someone
Mm.
might see the potential in the business and invest and become a partner. There are a lot of people who do not have that idea, who do not know how to go about it. And unfortunately, the financial institutions don't have friendly loans to give to young people in the country. And some of the government loans too, you would have to be someone, well positioned to be able to access such opportunities. So access to funding is another big challenge. And once again, external support could be a way of supporting a lot of young people to go into the space of entrepreneurship. Then I think quality education and skills is another need of young people in this country. A lot of people, up until recently, when free senior high school was introduced, most people right after junior high school would have to stay home because they don't have money to further their education. But today we have free senior high school. So right after junior high, when you're posted to a school, you can go. Even that is not easy, Charles, because when you're going to school, you need to buy provisions. You need to get some basic, amenities you'll be needing, basic things. that you'll be needing in school. And so even though there is access to education, some of the things they will need to make life comfortable in school at times so is non-existent. So Ghanaian youth require access to quality education and skills training, stuff like vets, the TVETs, these
Mhm.
vocational training schools. It helps you. So you learn how to do bead making, you learn how to make bags, you learn how to do some oil, pomade, and these some of the skills that we need. And so
Mm.
every now and then, people, agencies, international organizations would come in and then support young people to be able. But usually, this support also would come to known organizations. So it means that if you are a young person in Ghana and you don't belong to these organizations, or you don't know about these organizations to become a member or a part of this, these opportunities will come, but it repeatedly go to these known organizations. So it is not equally distributed, or it's not evenly distributed for people to access. And of course, the last one I'll touch on is digital literacy.
Yes.
In today's digital age, young Ghanaians need access to internet. And recently, there was a lot of brouhaha on the internet because the data was expensive. So, me, for instance, my work, I need a lot of internet every day, anytime. Because whether I'm on the farm or I'm in the office, I'm currently seated in my studio. If I'm recording and I want to stream live, I need internet. If I want to go on the internet to upload a video, I need internet. How do I leverage on digital space to make money? There are a lot of young people on the internet. They are not branding or creating a brand that would attract business. They are only there posting things that, for lack of better words, I'll say is unnecessary. So I think that gradually, recently, Mastercard Foundation launched an initiative where they are bringing together Agrake influencers. They are trying their bit to encourage more young journalists or more young people who are very vibrant on social media to use the space to preach or educate people about agriculture. So we have a group. Recently, they admitted a lot more young people into the space, and they are training you on how to build brand presence, how to communicate, how to handle yourself on the internet. So I think we need more of the digital literacy training and capacity building to help those who are on the internet with large numbers to monetize it. You can't spend money on the internet and not monetize it. You have to monetize. But because they don't have the knowledge or they don't know about how to go around it, some of them are present but don't know how to, leverage on the technology space to monetize what they have. So these are some of the needs that I can mention that young people need in Ghana, and government is doing their bit. But of course, if you're out there, you are an international organization, you have young people at heart, you want to support and collaborate with young people, just come down here and let's collaborate to help our young people.
Oh, that is phenomenal. I believe much of what you shared in the past ties heavily into what you're speaking about now, and it is very important for our audience to understand that there is a need for philanthropists, for investors, for individuals who are looking to engage in the business of Ghana and in supporting the youth, but
Mm,
also in supporting women in their engagements, but primarily just thinking about the business opportunities that are readily available within Ghana. And
mm,
again, I do encourage them to reach out to you to be able to know more about how they can become a part of that journey.
mm,
So
mm,
thank you for sharing that. I do want to know what are some of the projects, and I know you have a lot of them, but what are some of the projects that you're focused on today, most
mm.
recently?
Thank you very much. So sometime last year, I launched an initiative called Agrake for Girls. Um, so that initiative is seeking to train young people in the vocational and technical training skills area. So since not all of them want to go into the farm, I mean, be on the sun and using hoes and cutlass, we have realized that one way we can attract them is to train them in the area of mushroom farming. You can do mushroom in your home, in your kitchen. You don't have to go and be on the sun and do mushroom. You can do mushroom at your convenience and still sell and make money. We have also decided to train people in the area of buying and selling of farm produce because our farmers lack market access. And so if you're a young person, you've graduated, you're unemployed, you're staying home, Agrake for Girls seeks to train you and give you the requisites, support you need to become a commodity trader. You can buy and sell agricultural commodities. We're looking at people who can also be in the area of content creation like I am doing. There is too many. We have about 33 million population in Ghana. And so just me cannot reach every farmer to do a documentary around them. So those of them who admire what I do and would want to explore the area of content creation would also train them to become influencers and agricultural content creators. So Agrake for Girls is purposely for vocational and technical training skills for young women because we believe that if you want young people to be self-sustaining, if you want them to be financially empowered, and be independent so they will not become vulnerable, then of course you need to empower them so they can do what they can do to survive. And that's what, brought about the Agrake for Girls initiative. And then recently, the Agro Tourism initiative that we launched, where we are trying to help our farmers know that beyond farming, there could be a way where you can set up the farm to receive visitors. There are a lot of foreigners who want to come down to Ghana to farm or to invest in farming, but they don't have the knowledge. They want to meet the farmers they watch on my platform, the Ghanaian Farmer. So when they come, you can receive them, interact with them, share the journey, the experience, the challenges, the success stories. So agrotourism is something that we have taken upon ourselves in the Ghanaian Farmer team to champion so much so that one, we can bring back the love for our Greek and then we can help our farmers make some money. And lastly, has to do with support the farmer initiative. There are a lot of aged and disabled farmers, and most of those people are still very active doing their 1 or 2 acres or 3 acres. But at times when the season is about to start, people don't even have little money to buy seed or to buy fertilizer. Some even don't have volunteer boot, they don't have wheelbarrows, they don't have cutlass. So occasionally they would reach out, Ghanaian farmer, how can you help me? I'm a farmer, I'm disabled, I don't have this, I don't have that, or I'm a farmer, I am an aged person. So at the end of the season, I've spent all my money. How can you help me? So occasionally, out of our own coffers, we take some money and we do some donation, buy some farm equipment and go and donate to people. But I think that it would be great if anybody listening to this podcast who is passionate, someone who loves to touch life, someone who wants to, support people to look at this project and reach out to us. Let's collaborate and support these people because I mean, life is worth living when you're making an impact. And so if you're not, then there is really nothing why you are being around. So we're looking forward for more support, and I'm very grateful to CASTNET, always championing and also putting spotlight on the project we are doing in Ghana. So briefly, these are some of the projects that we are working on presently.
That is excellent, and I encourage everyone to follow suit and truly do reach out and connect with the Ghanaian farmer. I definitely want to make sure that they know how to find you. Uh, Lastly, I would like to really dig into that element of the discussion that, oftentimes social media can paint a very negative picture about Africa as a whole. And oftentimes what this does is it affects the not only the economies of different countries within Africa, it also affects the culture, the tourism, all factors associated with the region. And so what I want to do is, as an individual who has branched out and done so much for Ghana. And I pray that the Ghanaian farmers, as well as Ghanaian politicians and business people, get an
Mm.
opportunity to see this and know you and understand all the work that you have been doing in behalf of Ghana, which is very commendable. Uh, what would you like for the people, the audience, to really know and understand about Ghana? Whether it be for business or leisure, what is it that you'd like for them to take away from this discussion?
Right. There's a popular saying about Ghana or West Africa. When West Africa is mentioned and Ghana is mentioned, you are, told we are the gateway to Africa. Ghana is the most loving, peaceful, and, warmest country you can ever visit. Moment you step in our airports, the traditional dance, the smile, the friendliness of everybody is one thing that you would have on your memory every time the name Ghana comes to mind. Of course, when it comes to investment, it has a very, very enabling ecosystem for you to do your business. All you have to do is to identify the right institutions, to do your research, or to talk to, and you're directed as to how to go about it. Now, when it comes to investment opportunities in Ghana, we have the oil and gas, we have the agriculture sector, we have the real estate space that you can look up to, and many more. Our ecosystem or agribusiness system, the economic space is pretty much huge. Education is there. You can invest into institutions and train people and make some good money. So if you are looking forward to coming to Ghana, of course, you can speak to CASTNET International. And when you speak with them, depending on your area of interest, they will definitely recommend the right person to plug into when you arrive in the country. And of course, if it is agriculture, I definitely know Charles would recommend the Ghanaian farmer for you to talk to us. And our festivals
Absolutely.
are amazing. So don't forget that if you're considering coming to West Africa, Ghana should be your topmost priority. The country you would want to be, the country you would want to visit for luxury, for holidays, or for business. You're welcome. It's a beautiful place to be.
That is absolutely spectacular. And thank you so much for this. And this is an outstanding opportunity to be able to sit down and speak with you, learn more about your organization, learn more about you as an individual, but also, and most importantly, to learn about Ghana and to make sure that our audience gets an opportunity to see, hear, and understand exactly how this could work for them in their best interest, whether it's
Mm,
going to be in travel or business opportunities. I think this is very favorable.
right.
And also, this is a perfect opportunity for us to move away from the
Mm,
stigmatization of people thinking
yeah.
that there's so many negatives or tying Ghana as well as Africa as a whole to all of these negatives that exist out in social media. It is nothing of the sort. It is truly, truly God's country. And I am honored to have the opportunity to sit and speak with you
Mm.
today. And I want to thank you for your time. And as I mentioned earlier, your busy schedule and knowing that you have a lot of things on your plate. And we do not want to hold you up any longer, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Sir Charles, as I always call you. Thank you. I'm truly honored to be on your podcast, and I look forward to welcoming everybody. We are all one people. Forget about the color. Let's love and appreciate and support ourselves because we are all human. So, being in Africa or wherever you find yourself, just extend a hand to help someone. partner, collaborate, and work together. And I must say a big thank you to CASTNET as a group that loves to support its members and are always looking out for us and helping us to grow. I am truly grateful. I look forward to doing this more often with you, but until then, thank you so much for hosting me.
Thank you. And for everyone, thank you for sharing your time today and listening to us. We bid you farewell. Okay? Bye bye now.
Bye bye.
That was excellent.
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
so
I
I'm
I was
going
so
to
scared.